Okay, here we Cole Cunningham of the Independence Patriots, chosen last week as captain of the first team double-A All-State team by the West Virginia Sports Writers Association. First of all, Cole, what's that honor mean to you? I mean, not there's a lot of people on All-State. There's only one captain.
Yeah, it means a lot. It's an honor. I mean, worked hard for it. Worked all season for it. That's what we aim for. So I'm happy to be in this position.
Okay, when you came to Independence, this team had people like Atticus Goodson, Mike McKinney. How much did you get to play on those teams? I understand it wasn't a whole lot. What do you remember about that freshman year and just having to be behind those guys and not getting a real opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, had to work. I mean, those guys obviously they're going to take your starting spot, but you work in the JV games and you show coach what you can do, you'll get your start eventually. So
You told me you had one at bat, and in that bat
I struck out.
However, the next year when that opportunity came, your first start.
First
What do you
varsity.
remember that game? What do you remember about that first varsity start?
My first varsity at bat, my first varsity game, I hit a home run to start off my season. And then I think I also had like a double or something that game. So started off real nice, and it's just been uphill ever since.
Did you, when you came into Independence, did you just want to be the best player at the school? I mean, having to sit behind people like Goodson and Mike McKinney, guys who are really good. Did you just hope one day to be the best player?
That was the goal, yeah. I wanted to be the best on the team. Like that's my goal at all times, just be the best player I can be, best player on the team.
So you obviously accomplished that. Now one of the best players in the state. There are only 6 captains. Next year will go up, obviously. But there's 6 captains of the first and second team. You're one of 3 captains of all state teams. Do you feel like that you've ascended there, or are you still just grinding and trying to be the best player at the school?
Yeah, I want to be the best player I can be. I mean, obviously those are an honor to get. It's so cool to get, but I just want to be the best player I can be the best version of myself. So,
Do you think you can rise to be one of the best players in the state? Or you already probably are at that position. Do you think you can be the best player in the state? Is that now a goal, or does it not change?
It's always the same. You just want to get better, but I want to be the best. That's my goal at all times. Get better in the off season and play better in the on season. And I want to be the best in the state. That's my goal at all times.
You guys made it to the state tournament, made it to the state championship game. You won a state tournament game. The first, not as only as the first tournament win for Independence in a decade, but it was the first win for Region 3 at the state tournament since 2016. At the beginning of the season, what did you think? You couldn't have thought you were going to pitch in the state semifinal game. What did you think your chances were, percentage-wise?
Not really high, below 5-10%. Like those first couple practices with the team were looking great. I was like, man, we're gonna have to get really good, really quick to get where we want to get. And we worked really hard at it, and look where we ended up.
In the state championship, what was it like to prepare, knowing you were going to start a state semifinal?
It was I was very nervous. I won't lie. So I had like a week to prepare. So that whole time I was working on pitches. I was trying to stay relaxed in my head, not overthink anything. So
it goes by pretty quick. I think one of your teammates saw it went by. The thing I remember is it went by quick. I think Kibby actually said that. He said when he signed here the other day. What do you remember? He said it went by really quick. Did you feel like that?
yeah, it flew by. Like 1 second you're starting the game and the next is over. It's the same thing with the season. Starts real fast and then ends just like that.
And it's pretty abrupt. Most people want to end where you did. You couldn't have gone any further. So you went. I know you would have liked a better result, but Frankfurt was obviously a pretty good team.
Yeah.
So you didn't think that you guys would have much of a chance to get down to Charleston?
No, I seen sections and possibly region, but states that was a push for me. But making it there was a big deal.
Was the game that you pitched and won against the top seed Winfield, was that Was it what you expected? I mean, everybody probably dreams, what's it going to be like? Was it like what you, aside from a little bit hot,
Yeah.
uh, was it what you expected?
Yeah, I expected those results. I knew if I was on my game, we would win. So I knew it was coming.
You, I think, are 11-0 in your career. You've never lost a game that you started here. How much do you work on pitching? I know you're a phenomenal hitter, obviously, but how much do you work on pitching, and how important is that to you?
It's
Do you
very
consider
important.
you're an ace? Is that your position?
Yeah, I kind of I fought for that position. I wanted to be the starter. I wanted to be our ace. I wanted to be the best one, and I work on that a lot. Just like I work on my hitting a lot, I work on my pitching just as much because I don't want to be a good hitter and an okay pitcher, and a good pitcher and an okay hitter. I want to be good at both. I want to be great at both. I want to be the best at both.
What is you? You're not a prototypical, at least in the old school sense. You're not a prototypical cleanup hitter, and the reason I say it's not because you don't hit home runs, because you do. It's because you only struck out 9 times. It's funny. You say you struck out your first plate appearance of your. You probably only struck out. You only struck out 9 times last year, so it's probably only been 20 times since that one plate appearance. What is your plate? What's your mentality when you go to do you hunt fastballs? Do you try to jump on pitch? What's your plate approach?
Those first 2 strikes, those are mine. I go and attack. If I see a pitch I like, I attack it and I get it. But once I get to 2 strikes, it's the team's at bat now. I put it in play and I do my job. That's why I don't strike out.
That's an interesting concept. Where's that come from? That the first 2 pitches are mine, the third one is the team's. Where did that come from? I've not really heard it explained like that.
It came from Dad. Ever since Little League, it was like, I know you're a good hitter. I trust you. Those first 2 pitches, if you like it, you go and get them. But after that, that's my at bat. You do it for the team. And you move runners.
That's why you don't strike out a lot, you think?
That's exactly why.
Do you go into protect mode with 2 strikes? Do you choke
Absolutely.
up? I mean, a lot of cleanup hitters are like, I mean, you've seen baseball in this day and age. It's like, the heck with it, I'm going for it, home run. You change your thought process at 2 strikes?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's nice to get those home runs, but it sucks way worse when you go for a home run and you strike out. So I like to battle and put it in play.
Was the win, you can talk about it now, I think, because it's over. Was the win over Shady what propelled you guys? Now, you won that game 1-0 in a pitching duel with Jake Meadows, who ironically was the captain of this team last year. And then you had the triple that knocked in Kidlinger with the game-winning run in the 4th inning. Do you think that was the catalyst for getting this team to the state tournament, just to eke out a win like that?
Yeah, that was a big win, and you could tell by my energy level that game. I wanted that game, and we had to fight because it was a very tough one all the way to the end. But I think that really helped us to prepare for region and even states.
Well, you were able to get to Nicholasstown. You had to beat them twice because after you beat them, they beat Shady, which put it in that situation where you win. In that game, and you guys did have, I think, a fallback game, so it wouldn't have been if you had lost. But for Kidlinger to come in relief, do you think that how much of a factor did that play in?
It's a big part. Kibby stepping up like that. It was such a cool moment for Kibby. He deserved it. He needed a moment like that. So I was happy he got that moment.
What would be your highlight when you look back at your career here so far? Because there might be a bigger one coming up.
Probably that regional home run. Like, obviously I didn't have a great game, but just that feeling of hitting the ball over the fence and the crowd going crazy and running around, it felt so good.
That was the 7th of the season, I think.
Yes.
How many do you have now, career-wise? 13?
Something like that.
I think you had 6 your sophomore year, maybe.
I don't know. I think it was a little lower. I think I had like 4.
4 or 5. So it's
a couple.
So you've been able to increase. Maybe a lot of people, and yourself included, are kind of like a little shocked. However, if you look at the stats, you hit almost 400 your sophomore year. You hit over 400 this year. What can you do for an encore next year?
Yeah, next year I always set a higher goal for myself. I don't want to do just about the same as the last year. I want to do better. So my goal for next year is up there, closer to 500, if not over it.
You have a lot of numbers. Which one? I mean, I think it was 50 RBIs this year, which is one of the leaders in the state. I think there might have been one kid that had more, maybe a couple. You obviously never lost a start. Of all the stats you've been able to amass here, what one are you most proud of?
My pitching stats. I'm really proud of that one. Not losing a game on a start. That's an impressive stat. I like that one.
When you were sitting on the bench when you were a freshman, not getting too much of an opportunity, could you have envisioned what you've been able to do to this point?
No, I wouldn't have thought I'd be in this position, but I knew I could. I just had to push really hard to get here.
You don't play football here, you don't play basketball here. How much of what you do revolves around baseball 365 days a year? Every day?
Every day is baseball. And that's the commitment you have to be in the position I'm in.
If it's Christmas Day, you might do some hitting if you get in a batting cage
100%.
somewhere?
I have multiple times, actually.
On Christmas Day?
Yep, Christmas Day.
So you think they knew what, you think you knew what was coming because of your work ethic when you got a chance?
Yeah, I mean, if you put in the work, it's going to show on the field and it's going to show in the stats. So I think that's where it's all come from, is the off-season work and the preseason work.
I think you're kind of a student of what's going on in baseball around the area. You know you're going in a new region, a new classification, actually moving up to AAA because there'll be 4 classes. It's going to be a lot of the same teams, but you've also got in the section along Princeton and Greenbrier East jumping in. What are your thoughts on the new alignment and the 4 classes and new alignment?
It's going to be tough for us this year. It's not going to be as easy as this year. I mean, but same thing. We're like, oh, it's going to be a tough year, but if you work hard, you get the results. So I'm not too worried about it.
Are you excited about the new potential rivalries with teams like East that you never, I think you'll have there'll always be shady.
Yeah.
But do you think this will maybe bring more excitement to the team?
100%. I love those rivalry games. So anytime you get in one of those, it's just a better environment. It's so fun to play in. That's why the shady games are always fun. So I'm excited.
Job one for you now, and in the summer, what are you going to be working on as you play for your dad on the West Virginia or the Lightning team, which is a travel team, and also for the Bases Loaded, the high school team here in the Bases Loaded League?
Yeah, I want to work on more strength, more speed, more velocity off the mound. I just want to improve every piece of my ability in every spot, like hitting and pitching and fielding. I want to work on everything and get better at everything.
Only trip was
Yeah.
over that one against Shady that knocked in the winning run. Were you gassed after cruising around the bases?
100% I was. I am. But it's a big boy trip. What's fun? You get that adrenaline pumping.
A big boy trip.
Yeah.
I know you like those.
That's my favorite.
All right. Hey, Cole, I appreciate the time. Congratulations on all the success, and we'll be watching you this summer and look forward